On today's episode, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado still unsigned, more proposed rule changes from both the MLB and the Players Association, and we give you an inside look at what pre-production looks like on our show. You're watching The Lineup. Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new season of The Lineup alongside my co-host Jeff Matthews. I'm Joshua Adams. Let's start with the biggest news of the offseason so far. Zach Britton changed how he spells his name.
Well, that is definitely something.
I don't know how the Yankees are going to cope. He changed it from Z-A-C-H to Z-A-C-K.
Wow.
That's, I don't know how their bullpen's going to recover.
To fix that on all the documentation they have on him, that's going to cost a lot of money.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for the team to get through. Yeah. So some actual baseball news. Both the Players Association and the MLB itself proposed rule changes, and I hate all of them.
He hates a lot of things.
You're not wrong, but I don't like that you said it. So what the MLB Players Association suggested, one of the things that they suggested was a DH in 2019, right stinking now. It didn't pass, obviously.
It's hard to make that happen just off the
It is, yes. That might be how they have to institute a DH, because they're just going to have to sneak it in and say, deal with it, and then get out and then kind of deal with the repercussions after that. Because
it forces all the other players to learn it.
It does.
To get used to it.
Yeah.
The best way to learn something is to just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're going to do that, might as well just throw it in there and make them get used to it.
As it is now, the schedule they've laid out is about 2022 for the DH to be in the National League, which we've probably talked about it on the show. We've had so many episodes by this point. I'm not sure, but I'm against the DH being in the National League. This is the only sport where they're actually separate leagues. They're not conferences. They're united under Major League Baseball, but they're separate leagues. So the fact that they have different rules means that if people don't want a DH, they can be a fan of a National League team. If they do want the DH, first off, I don't know, how you live with yourself, first of all. There's that.
Very true statement.
And you can be a fan of an American League team. But it feels cheap if they have a universal DH for me.
I think it is. I think for most people, me personally, I like not having a DH. I like watching the pitcher swing the bat, making him play the game. Going into the American League, they don't have that. You have the DH. And forcing another league to kind of incorporate that into their play, I think kind of goes against of what a lot of people want to see, especially if you're a fan of the National League. You want to see the pitcher hit, and making them do it, it just kind of stirs stuff up.
You understand why the Players Association wants it, because it extends careers, and if the rosters are moved from a 25 to a 26-man roster, which was another one of the proposed rule changes, which with that I'm fine with that. I mean, that's one extra person. Okay. Whoop-de-doo.
Right.
Congratulations on all that you've accomplished. But that would mean that extra roster spot can be used solely for the DH if someone wants that. So that gets 30 extra jobs in the major leagues. So a union will obviously want more jobs. But in my opinion, this is going to sound kind of strange. The DH in the American League feels like 21st century baseball. In the National League, without the DH, feels like baseball as it has been for a long time. It feels like, again, that this term might be a little off, but unnecessary progress. It feels like change for the sake of change. I
think it's hard to kind of talk about this because me and you both have expressed how we like the tradition of baseball. You and I both like watching the pitcher hit. Me and you both grew up watching how baseball's always been played. And how we have our traditions in baseball. However, times are changing. Baseball is one of those sports where viewership has not been to where it was at one point, and you have to kind of understand that a lot of these teams are just trying to help the sport move with society. Mm-hmm. And so now we're sitting at a spot where there are a lot of children are getting back into baseball, and a lot of that deals with how football has kind of been unsafe and with concussion protocols and stuff like that. Parents are not letting their children play football, so they go to baseball. So I think as time moves on, baseball, unfortunately, the DH is going to end up in the National League. And it's hard to not recognize that.
And I will fight it till the day I die.
I know you will.
I will not be a fan of that. I refuse to be a part of the DH being in the National League.
But it's going to be here.
It is. Here on the lineup, we put a lot of effort into making the show you see every week. To show you how we do it, we invited a camera crew to film our preseason meeting. Check it out.
So I bit the inside of my lip this morning.
And how did that make you feel?
Well, I was eating cereal, so didn't really like the rest of the bowl.
Kind of ruins your day, doesn't it?
Ruined the cereal. So we have classes with each other every day this semester. We have the baseball class, we have sports and media, and we have Barry's class.
Correct.
It's a lot. We have the show, and we also have productions,
right,
of which we are both a part, sports productions.
Right.
So I was thinking, when we see each other on campus, just kind of pretend like we don't know each other. It's a lot, okay? You know? You picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm glad you brought this up because, I don't know, for me, it's completely you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see you, it's like I just get tired and it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So, I agree.
You agree?
I agree.
Okay, good. First thing, done. Nice.
Perfect.
So, people watch our show for one reason.
Baseball.
Us. What? No.
But
why would they watch it for baseball? What would the point of that be? Anybody can get any news at any point about baseball.
I don't think we understand.
We can't add anything to that. They can look up the stats of anybody at any moment. What can two college students that nobody cares about add to it except their personalities?
But you have no personality. All right, listen. I'm not saying I'm the star of the show, but what I am saying is that I'm better than you.
In what way? Because it's not baseball knowledge.
See, you limit me. Have you seen my face? Okay, I'm just saying you could know a little bit about baseball and have a face like mine, and you're amazing.
Do you have any examples of that working? So I've been looking over the previous episodes of the show, and you kind of make a face in between the lines on green light.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you show me an example?
Yes, I can. Do you realize you're doing it now? So I've critiqued you a little bit on how you do on the show. Do you have any kind of constructive criticism for me?
Yes. I actually thought about this before the meeting. So I went ahead and just wrote just a few things down.
Cubs fan? Mm-hmm. Always talks.
That was a big one.
Wears the sure thing. What?
You wear the same thing.
That is not an A. Stupid. Oh, this is stupid hat. I thought I said stupid hot.
No, the hat. That
okay.
Cubs hat.
I lost all respect for you when you whiffed on that girl you asked out last semester. That's just personal, man. What?
You didn't get to the part where I said can't take constructive criticism.
Well, why would we even talk about the American League?
But I don't think you understand that
I mean, the American League and the National League is baseball, so we have to talk about them sometimes.
Yes, but I mean, the designated hitter is an assault on everything that America stands for.
Aaron.
Hey, I was looking for you. Real quick, Marcus is not going to be able to make Real Talk tomorrow, and I need somebody quick. Would you be able to fill in? I just need you to help me talk football, basketball. But really, I'm going to have one topic for you. I need you to really, try to dive in on that missed pass interference call in that Saints-Rams game and all that, that new commissioner rule that came up and all that jazz about it, and about New Orleans even suing the NFL. So I'm going to need you to go in depth on that. You good with that? Yup. Perfect. All right, cool. See you tomorrow. Shoot is at about 2 o'clock. See you then, buddy.
I know nothing about football.
You know nothing about football.
Do you remember that one broadcast I did with you?
And he will take it to the
End zone.
end zone. Yes.
Why did you agree to it?
He just talks so fast.
And in between the uprights for a
Field goal.
there's a goal?
I think we're good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it here on the lineup. That's pretty much how it goes. Yeah.
Pretty
so
typical.
That's that's a look into productions.
That was a boring
a look into show business.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I mean, you see the wheels turning in that video. You see the wheels turning. You see it's like maybe we'll go here.
All the hard work and dedication.
All the heart, really.
The passion.
The passion.
And if there's no passion, there's no show.
And the knowledge.
And the knowledge.
Yeah, the knowledge, as you said. Yeah.
And the perfect face.
and the perfect face. And that was shot by our camera.
What he was trying to say is that whole video was shot by our camera.
Anna Claire and Max.
And Max.
Yes, they did a wonderful job on that.
They did.
I loved the zoom in on your face when you go, have you seen my face? And Anna Claire just right in on it. That was perfect. Pitchers and catchers have reported to spring training, and two of the game's biggest stars are still yet to sign. More on the lineup coming up.
You don't want to simply be another face in the crowd. You want to excel, to make the most of your time on this planet. That means a decision must be made. You have to find a place where you can shine. A community that fosters your potential. A home where you can write your own future. It's time to become the person you've dreamed of being. It's time to become a governor at Austin Peay.
Thank you once again for joining us on the lineup. I am Joshua Adams. This is my co-host, Jeff Matthews. Once again, an incredibly slow off-season. Bryce,
this was not supposed to happen.
It wasn't.
I think last season, even at the beginning of our show, we talked about how this was supposed to be an amazing.
It was supposed to be an all-time off-season.
Right, but now it's just come down, and really the only news anybody is looking for is the Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, whatever you want to call that situation, where they're going to go. And right now, it's up in the air.
It is. I mean, you could say that the market has been held up by Harper and Machado, and maybe you can say that, but at this point, I think it's only 2 or 3 teams that have said they're interested in either of them. So, at max 6 teams wouldn't hold up, over 100 free agents. That wouldn't happen.
And it's hard, Bryce Harper, I think he's been given a couple of deals and he's rejected both of them. I honestly believe Bryce Harper will end up back on the Nationals. I think this deep into the offseason, spring training's coming up, something's either going to happen and someone's going to offer him what he wants, or he's going to end up back on the Nationals. I'm not sure. I really feel like those are going to be the 2 things that are going to happen with Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, pitchers and catchers reported today. This is the last day. I mean, some of them reported, 3 or 4 days ago, but this is the last official day of pitchers and catchers report. and two of the game's biggest stars are still not signed.
And that's a problem.
Excuse me.
And that's a
Yes.
problem for a lot of teams because I feel like there's more teams out there that would be involved with these two players. Like, let me rephrase that. There would be a lot of movement from other teams once these two players get signed. Because then that's going to free up a lot of people's decisions. Money's going to be transactioned, and then now other opportunities will open up.
As far as Harper goes, I don't think he's going to get anywhere near the money that he's asked for, and it is 100% Scott Boras. You know, we'll keep our opinions about him to ourselves, but you can kind of guess from what we just said. We are not fans of Scott Boras. This is what he does with his players. He says, wait it out. Machado is not represented by Scott Boras.
Right.
But Harper is, and Harper, you could say, is the bigger free agent. But there are a lot of teams that don't think he's worth the $350 million that he's asking for. And you can look back to the Josh Hamiltons, the Albert Pujolses, the Giancarlo Stanton's, who Giancarlo Stanton is still valuable, but no player is worth $300 million in 10 years. I think that the market has just come to a point where it's resetting,
right?
Where teams have realized these contracts never work out. These players never are good, and I mean, never is obviously a big statement. It turns out a lot of these players are not good in the second half of that contract. And a lot of the contracts are backloaded to kind of try and counterbalance that.
The thing with sports is a lot of these you don't really know what's going to happen to a player mid-season, beginning of season. Bryce Harper could get injured. He could tear an ACL in spring training. Hopefully that does not happen. I would never want that for anybody. However, that's a possibility.
You've torn your ACL, haven't you?
3 times, Josh.
3 times. There
3
it is,
times.
3 times. Is that why you wouldn't wish it on anybody?
I would never wish that on my worst enemy. But you said at one point, I thought it was kind of funny that you said it, how Bryce Harper was a bigger free agent than Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the stats on my laptop right here. And although I think Bryce Harper is more of a name for a team, I don't think he's much more of a player than Manny Machado.
Yeah, he's not.
Manny Machado, 37 home runs, Bryce Harper, 34. Manny Machado, 107 RBIs, Bryce Harper, 100. Manny Machado was hitting 297, Bryce Harper, 249.
Is that last season?
Yes, I do believe so.
Okay. The thing with Bryce Harper being, he is a bigger name than Manny Machado. That's not questioned. But I believe he has a higher ceiling than Manny Machado because I think it was his 2015 season. It was an all-time great season.
Yes.
And Manny Machado has had some elite seasons, but he doesn't have that, oh my goodness, what are we seeing here? This is amazing ceiling that Bryce Harper might have, but we haven't seen it since then.
Right, and I think I brought this up last time we talked about Bryce Harper was, what do you want more? Do you want a good, consistent player that you know can get on base? Or do you want someone who has a good year, a really good year, every 3 years?
Yeah, we mentioned that. I think it might have been our last show last season.
That we were walking
who is more valuable, the player that has a massively valuable season than an average season, or a player that sticks around 5-6 WAR every single year.
Right.
And I said that I would take the 5 or 6 WAR player every time because it's the same as home run hitters. It's like you're going for the big shot. You're waiting for that big thing to happen and realizing that you're going to be maybe hurt outside of that, but you're waiting for that big thing to happen, which might be why you're leaning towards Machado.
Probably. And then another name I want to bring up, because I am a Braves fan, Craig Kimbrell has still not signed with anybody. Played with the Red Sox, and he's a very, very good relief pitcher, in my opinion. He did a good job with the Atlanta Braves, and he was with the Braves, I think it was back in 11? No, later than that, probably 14-ish, probably around that area. Craig Kimbrell, like I said, he's a good pitcher. He has a 2.74 ERA. I think, and the Braves are looking at him. There's a few teams looking at him. Braves previously, a little bit, not too long ago, signed Brian McCann back. They got Josh Donaldson for third base, which, I mean, that's kind of, I like Josh Donaldson. I just think our third base position is looking okay right now. but it adds some
So
depth.
you think Josh Donaldson is only okay for third
No,
base?
I think the Braves position that we have, I think we have Johan Camargo sitting at third. And he's done a pretty decent job at third. I just do not think that we needed
You didn't
too
think
much.
that the upgrade was necessary?
Exactly. I didn't
Okay.
think that we needed Josh Donaldson. I think we've handled that third base position. I don't play for the Braves. I think that they have handled that position fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
But it adds some more depth into it, and it gives you a more of a veteran player at third base.
Yeah.
But with Brian McCann coming back to the Braves, that opens a door to bring back Craig Kimbrell, and now you have a 2011
A
reunion.
Glory Days team.
Right, Freeman,
Yeah.
McCann, and Kimbrell all back on the same
So
team.
for what reason do you believe that signing Brian McCann could bring Kimbrell in? Is it just because of that familiarity?
I think it is. And
Okay.
I think Kimbrell loved being in Atlanta. When Kimbrell was in Atlanta, he had Chipper Jones, Freddie Freeman, Brian McCann, Upton,
Dan Uggla.
Dan Uggla, Mr. Lean back at the plate.
Mr. Forearms, more like, have you seen those things?
Yeah. But I think creating this, it gives more of a veteran look at the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as of right now, the Braves have a very young team. A lot of them are in their young 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think adding Kimbrell would bring back that position. Like right now, our closer is Vizcaíno.
Mm-hmm.
Great closer. Put in Craig Kimbrell, and I think Braves could be very dangerous if they had Kimbrell.
They can. And I think with Kimbrell not being signed, again, it's amazing that he's probably a top 3-4 closer in the game. And he isn't signed, and pitchers and catchers, again, reported today.
Right.
That, I think, is a sign of him asking for too much money, because there isn't a team that doesn't want him on their team. There isn't a team that is that, thick.
Right.
There isn't a team that doesn't want that veteran leadership in the bullpen and how powerful he is as a closer. So I think it's another case of he's asking for too much money.
And that it might be. And, with Craig Kimbrell, as good of a pitcher as he is he too out of line to ask for that? And we get into this position, when can players ask too much money, right? Bryce Harper, what did he want? Or they said that
the Nationals offered him around $300 million.
offered him
I know that,
$300
and he
million.
turned it down. Mm-hmm. I will take that money right now, and I am
put
out
a
of
slight
here.
dent in my paycheck if I was
So it'll put
offered for that.
Yeah, slight dent, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Kimbrell's 31. That's not old for a reliever. He still has probably 4 or 5 good years in him.
I think so.
I mean, at least valuable years in him. I mean, as far as elite years go, maybe he has 2 or 3. And relievers never get that long of contracts. That's never something that people give out, because relievers are the most volatile of positions
I think
in
I
baseball.
did read somewhere that he wanted a contract of 6 years.
That's
Crazy
why.
for a reliever.
Yeah, that's why.
And it's hard to make a commitment with that with a reliever pitcher for any team, really. Relievers are kind of, I don't want to say they're inconsistent, but they can be.
They are. Yeah, they're absolutely inconsistent, which is why for the Cubs, Pedro Strop has been so valuable, because he's been consistent every year. He's been amazing every year. Meanwhile, I mean, every team, you can't get, you don't see that many people buying relievers' jerseys. Right. Because they're coming in and out. They're here today, gone tomorrow. I mean, Justin Wilson on the Cubs, I really liked him. He's gone. He did well for the Cubs. He's on the Mets now. Poor thing. that was mean. It's a hit. That's a hit. But I mean, as far as you look down this list of free agents, and a lot of them are signing short-term contracts because
the one-year contract.
market.
I feel like I've seen so many one-year contracts.
There's been a lot of 1 and 2 year contracts, or 1 year with a player option, or a team option, something like that. And I think it's because teams are looking to next offseason. This is, again, we're after this past offseason. We're not going to say anything about the
I don't
future.
want to make any more predictions anymore.
But I think teams are expecting next offseason to be huge. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of scrounging up their money, gathering the nuts for the winter to get ready for next offseason and to really hit the ground running. Okay, on the other side of the break, it's your favorite segment, Green Light.
The honors program at Austin Peay started. There was a group of professors who thought, what are we doing for our strongest students? And since then, the program has changed and grown with the university. And now we have over 300 students who are in the program. It's open to students of all majors.
I wanted something that would set me apart from other pre-med students. So I thought the honor program would help me with that. It's pretty easy to make friends here because everyone here is focused on school because they're in the honors program, so they want to get something out of school. And it's just a nice place to come to study.
In the classrooms, they will be asked to stand on their tiptoes, is what we say. But the classes are more interesting. They move along a little faster. It's a place where those students can congregate to study, so I think students are better prepared for careers and for life in general through that academic curriculum.
Back with us on the lineup, Joshua Adams, Jeff Matthews. Each week we wrap up our show with one of our favorite segments, which we call Green Light. If you don't know, in baseball, when a batter is given the green light, it means he has permission to swing at whatever pitch he wants. In the same way, we have given ourselves permission to overreact and make fun of anything and everything in the baseball world.
Bryce Harper unfollowed the Washington Capitals on social media, and it qualifies as news. This is how slow the offseason has been. Please let the season start now.
Kyler Murray has decided to pursue a career in the NFL rather than the MLB, and I cannot wrap my head around why someone would make a decision like that.
He was drafted by the A's.
Okay, he made the right call.
Yeah.
The designated hitter looks like it will be coming to the National League around the 2022 season, and I think that's good. The times change, and baseball needs to change with them. No, it'd be terrible.
According to Buster Olney, free agent pitcher Dallas Keuchel is asking for $25 to $30 million a year. We all want a lot of things, Dallas.
Tim Tebow has reportedly turned down an offer to play in the new Alliance of American Football League. In baseball, he can have a longer career and make more money, so he made the right call.
He plays for the Mets.
That was really not a smart decision.
The Atlanta Braves signed Josh Donaldson to a one-year contract to play third base this offseason. I mean, he's no Jose Bautista, but he'll do.
In the trailer for the new Avengers movie, there's a flyover shot of Citi Field with the lights off, derelict, and empty. Believe it or not, it was shot during the Mets' home opener last season.
When Alex Wood learned he would be traded to the Cincinnati Reds, he was optimistic. After learning Yasiel Puig was traded with him, his official statement simply said, "Dang it."
This offseason, the Cardinals traded for all-star first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. In his press conference with the team, Goldschmidt said the deal was the right move for him, saying, quote, "I enjoy being unhappy. St. Louis is the place for me."
After trading all-star Robinson Cano and superstar closer Edwin Diaz to the Mets, the Mariners have fully committed to a rebuild. After trading for those two impact players, the Mets have committed to competing for third place in the National League East.
The Last Jedi was terrible.
The Cubs have said multiple times this offseason they simply don't have money to spend. It's a shame seeing these small market teams fall by the wayside.
Seriously, Ryan Johnson, what the heck?
Jacob deGrom wants to negotiate a contract extension with the Mets. It seems he knows his pitching has never been more valuable than when the Mets only score him a single run a game.
If you wanted to make a bad Star Wars movie, why did you sign on to make a Star Wars movie?
At the age of 46, Bartolo Colon is still looking to pitch in the major leagues. For any of you pro scouts watching out there, rumor has it he's in the best shape of his life.
Even Solo was a better Star Wars movie, and it had Lando in a relationship with a droid, for gosh sakes.
This offseason, Manny Machado and Bryce Harper dared to ask the question, is a single ball player worth $300 million? The baseball world promptly replied, no.
Bryce Harper's market has developed so poorly, he's considering playing for the Giants. It's the Giants. Why would he play for the Giants? What is that?
I don't know.
It's just bad call. It's just a bad call.
It's a bad call all around.
For Jeff Matthews, I am Joshua Adams. Thank you to our entire production crew for helping us put on this show. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.